Hi everyone, happy Saturday. This is my Everything Cancer video. I hope that you can join me, and if you're listening and if you have a Cancer in your life, or if you know somebody who has Cancer rising, a Cancer moon sign, or is a Cancer, you might want to share this video with them, and it might give you some insight into your Cancers, who they are and what they want. I'm going to try to put a little filter on this. How fun is that? Anyways, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and give me a hello. And if you want to ask a question, I'm more than happy to answer. So let's dive into Cancer. So this is anybody born between June 21st and July 22nd. And these people, I would call them the emotional intuitive. They are, thank you for the love, they are so dialed in. They are ruled by the moon. And the moon has sort of a sixth sense, if you will. They're deeply, deeply connected to other people, other people's energy, and what other people are feeling. So Cancers have this sense about them that can literally read the emotions, maybe even the thoughts and the feelings of the environment around them. They can tap into any living creature. They can tap into, what does this flower feel, or what does that tree feel, or what does that animal feel, or what does that loved one feel. And they can get very overwhelmed with this because they are so dialed in, and they didn't even ask for this. It just is so. It's like, I have blonde hair, they have intuition, and they need a quiet space in order to recharge their batteries. Now, when this sign, Cancer, is somebody's Jupiter or somebody's Neptune, it gets gargantuan. You know, these are enormous. Neptune is in charge of the infinite, and Jupiter is something like 35,000 times the size of Earth. So when Cancer is in that sign, this is like crazy aware on that invisible plane, if you will. And they probably have a divine connection that they're dialed into. And it's quite magical. Now, it's in detriment when it's in somebody's Saturn sign, because Saturn is very pragmatic and unemotional and businesslike, and so it doesn't like all those emotions because it's highly, highly emotional. Yeah, this is your sun. So you might want to listen up, because this is what a Cancer desperately needs, and what if they did want to tell you how to love them, which they don't want to tell you. They absolutely don't. They just want you to know it. So just listen to this video and then you'll know how to love them, because they don't like telling you. That's private. But I'll tell you, okay? I'll out all the Cancers, because this is also my mother, my brother, and my daughter. So just the loves of my life. I have more loves that are Cancer in my personal sphere than any other sign. So I know the sign really well. They're cardinal, so that means they're leaders. So they are emotional leaders. Now, they don't look like it. I know they don't look like it because they don't out themselves, but they are. This is going on the inside. They're very yin, and so there is a reserve to them. But do not, oh my God, do not underestimate their incredible, tenacious sensitivity. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but they are tenaciously sensitive and tenaciously feeling, and they are leaders with their feelings. And I'm going to show you some examples, and you're going to get to see how this works in a minute. But the Cancer also rules the stomach, and so Cancers can have really bad stomach aches. And when a Cancer knows that something's off, they know it in their gut. They truly know it. Look, I got chills saying that. Are there any Cancers out there that agree with me? Like, you know it in your stomach. It's not the bowels. Leave that to Scorpio, thank God. But it is the stomach. And it also rules female breasts, but mostly it's the digestive system in the stomach. And so they get really bad stomach aches when something's off. So they are the intuitive, we talked about that, but they are also the quintessential nurturer. So if you are so lucky, like me, to have a Cancer mom and a Cancer daughter, right? If you are so lucky to have a Cancer in your life, these people, what they are so good at is merging with you and knowing what you need to be truly nurtured. and taken care of. So they're the quintessential nurturing mother or even nurse. But it basically, whatever it is you need, they're dialed in to how you need to be taken care of. And then I would also describe them as the self-protective, and I might even say hermit. So what their task in this lifetime is, and believe me, they don't even want this task. They kind of do, but not really, because it's hard. But their task in this lifetime is to form the deepest emotional bonds with another person. It can be just with a living entity, but preferably another person, and express those deepest feelings without fear. Did you hear that, Cancers? Good luck, right? You're like, why? I don't want to do that. Yes, you do. I know you feel like you don't want to do it, but you kind of do, because the reward is absolutely amazing. Now, that's their task in this lifetime, but their pitfall in this lifetime is they can become so emotionally insecure. And the reason why they're insecure is because they're very, very, very afraid under that shell. They're frightened. They're frightened of being hurt. They're frightened of that enormity of feeling that they have inside being exposed, and somebody not reciprocating, not handling it, not wanting to deal with it, or them not being able to manage it or control it. It is so overwhelming to be this deeply in touch with the emotional aspect of life, of all of life, not just their life, your life, his life, their life, everybody's life, the world. They probably can't even watch the news sometimes. So, because they are literally like short-circuited, they can short-circuit themselves emotionally. So if you agree with me and you're a Cancer, give me a heart, give me a thumbs up, because I live with a Cancer, and I'm not particularly like this, but all of my loved ones are, and so I see it play out. So their pitfall is this insecurity, and this insecurity is this fear. So I don't blame them for it, but their pitfall is to become closed off and too private and to not express themselves. And they've got enormous mood swings. So remember, they're ruled by the moon. I have so much to say, so we're just going to keep on going. They're ruled by the moon, and the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So you get a Leo moon today, and then you get a Virgo moon tomorrow, and then 2 days later you're in a Libra moon, and then you got a Scorpio moon. Well, this is what their wavelength is. And so they are constantly in touch with the energies in the world, just like the moon controls the ebb and flow of the ocean waves. You know, we are mostly water. It also pulls on us. And when you're a Cancer, you feel that insanely so. And so as the world is evolving and shifting, the Cancer is in touch with that rhythm, where the Aquarius is completely oblivious, or the Aries really only feels their own rhythm. But Cancer is in touch with this universal rhythm, kind of like Pisces. And so they come across as really moody. But what it is they're in touch with the moods. They're not necessarily moody, they're in touch. And so they're just such beautiful people. Their guiding principle, how they go through life, is by these words: I feel. I feel. And so their heart is here, or their mission is here to learn how to love without reservation. Now show me a Cancer that loves without reservation. I'm sorry, but I haven't met one. I just haven't met one. I just haven't met one, because it's so scary. Maybe my mom, maybe. I mean, I think but she's Pisces rising. So maybe she loves without reservation. And if you know my mom, give me a thumbs up, because she is the quintessential embodiment of love. Her nickname is Martin Luther King. I mean, she loves all people. So maybe her, but she's pretty evolved. Let's see, here's my big cup of coffee. Okay, family is, thanks Jean, you're sweet. Not really, but you are. That's our inside joke, people. So Cancer is extraordinarily deep, and they, family and security are as critical to life as their body and breathing. And therefore, they cannot trust very easily. What a Cancer needs, okay, this is where you have to listen. What a Cancer needs is they absolutely have to feel of value and important and safe in order to open up their hearts to you. And so they're extremely, they can intuit another person's energy and vibe instantaneously, and they can know almost instantaneously if you're not in an open, present way with them. And so they can close off. At their very best, they are so romantic, so nurturing, so kind, and so thoughtful. They will think of every single detail. And at worst, they're completely paralyzed. So they can spend a lot of their time in these make-believe accommodations, and their coping mechanism is total denial and sweeping everything under the rug. They have this unwavering fear, usually in the beginning of their life before they grow self-confidence, that they're going to be abandoned. And so they sometimes, if they're undeveloped or unhealthy, they will attach constantly to the abandoners in life, because they either have been abandoned in their previous years and they fear that it will happen again, and so they project that onto others, chasing their wound in order to find another abandoner to then get them to not abandon them, in order to validate that the person who originally abandoned them was wrong or invalid. I hope I'm explaining this right, but it's a transference of wound. So oftentimes Cancers find unavailable loves because they were abandoned in their previous years, and they are trying to heal that original wound by projecting it onto the new abandoner, doing whatever it takes, the tap dance that it takes to get the new abandoner to stick so they can validate and heal the original wound. By the way, this never works. This never works. You have to heal the original wound with the original person. But that's just one unhealthy way that a Cancer can operate in. So here's what Cancers need above all else. They need undying loyalty. They need to feel utterly safe. They don't usually feel emotionally safe, and they're not emotional risk takers. So they need you to take the risk, and they feel deep down inside that the world is kind of an unsafe place. I mean, the crab is predominantly prey, not always, but predominantly. And if you can become their safe haven, they will fall madly in love with you. I mean, if they like you, and I love you, Whitney. Anyways, I mean, if they like you already and you become a safe haven for them, they will never leave you. Never. Cancers are so loyal, they are loyal to the death. Now, here's what's interesting. They are very attached to the past. Now, listen to this. This is a little bit tricky, okay? So Cancers are complex. They are not simple. I mean, I was talking about Gemini last month, and for as complex as Gemini is, I think Cancer is 20 times as complex, because you don't see what's going on. You only hear what they tell you, but that oftentimes is not what's really going on. So their tool for coping with life is literally Harry Potter's invisible cloak. Literally, they will just put that on and hide from the world. And if you don't hear from them for 5 days, or if they don't post on social media, or if you haven't heard a peep from them, seriously, go knock on their front door and find out what they're doing. It's so funny because I'll just tell on my brother here. My brother's a Cancer. And by the way, Cancers are not wimpy. Cancers are very masculine. They can be, because they're yang. They're leaders. They're just passionate. So, if I don't hear from my brother, I text him, I call him, I Facebook him, and I get nothing. I get zero pulse. I'm like, okay, something's wrong. But I can't fly to, right now it's Austin, Texas. Before it was Singapore. I can't fly there to go knock on his door. But I've got the big guns, and I bring out my big barrels, and I know how to get him out of his hole, only to go put on my miner's cap, get down there into the the coal mining cave. I get all the way down into the bottom and I find him. And where do I find him? With a bag of chips on the couch with a pillow, watching TV, pretending he has no problems in the world. And that's when I know he is totally depressed. And I'm like, really? You're watching The Simpsons? I've been blowing up your phone. I have been blowing up your phone. The only thing I didn't do was buy a flight to Austin, Texas and knock on your front door. But that's the coping mechanism for Cancer, and I respect that. And you know, now after 30 years of that, I get it. My daughter's the same way, and my mom only lives 5 miles, so I can drive over there. But Cancers have Daniel Radcliffe's Harry Potter's invisible cloak, and they go and hibernate, and they have to go in their cave. Did you see my little Cancer? She's hiding from me. She's so cute, little love of my life. Cancers aren't going to share their problems with you. I swear to God, they could be going through a divorce and they won't tell you. They could be getting their leg amputated and you didn't know about it. And the next time you see them, they have pants on and you still don't know that they have an amputated leg underneath their pants. They will not tell you unless you're safe, unless you are their safest haven. What makes a safe haven? Non-judgmental, totally accepting, merging with their wounds, saying, oh God, I feel you. Feel what they feel, or God, if you could feel half of what they feel, they'd be so happy. But when you merge so totally with their heart and you just go, God, that's awful. That's what I would feel. That, for some reason, just makes it so much better. But they don't want the lecture and the judgment and the protocol and what they should be, because they are so overwhelmed with their emotions. They just want to know that somebody that they love gets them and is safe for them to show all their warts to. And they don't have very many people like that. Maybe a few, but not a lot. I promise you, not a lot. How many friends on the beach when you see a crab, how many little friends does that crab have? How many friends do you see with the little crab? Nobody. Nobody. I guarantee you who you're seeing with the crab is the dad and the daughter and the son. You're seeing the family. You are not seeing the friends. So their tribe is small. Now, well, I hope my brother doesn't watch this video, but he might laugh. So I want to go back to at their worst and what does a Cancer need about all else? Well, you know what I'm going to do? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. One thing, at the dinner table, like if you want to light your Cancer up, let's say your Cancer is having a down day. Let's say you need a tactic or a trick to engage them. You need to get their energy to bubble up to the surface and start getting peppy, right? This is what you do. Cancer loves, loves, loves talking about their past. They absolutely love it. They are so attached to their past that they can speak endlessly about it, and they cling to it and they attach to it. And it's because it's a safe place. Even if it was a bad past, they still want to talk about it. It's still their safe haven. Why? Because they know the outcome, because it's not unpredictable. So they'll even enjoy and get excited and happy to even talk about a bad past. I'm not kidding. I know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. And it's just because the past makes them who they are today. Now, it's kind of funny. I think they would prefer to talk about the happy part of their past, but I'm just saying the bad part of their past will work too. And then you can mesh in how, you know, what the inspiring parts to their unhappy pieces of their past story too. But have you ever been around a Cancer that just repeats the same story over and over and over and over and over and over about their, I don't know, grandmother's famous spaghetti sauce, or the painting that they have in their house that was passed down from generations? I mean, they love talking about this. Love, love, love. Go watch old childhood movies of them, or old photo albums, or old scrapbooks of their childhood, or their last love, or their long lost love, or their child when they gave birth to a child, or the first day they brought their baby home. Oh my God, they will be in heaven. This is how you seduce them. Remember in my Aries video where I was like, how you seduce an Aries is You bring your Richard Sherman to the table? Yeah, well, how you seduce a Cancer is you ask them, do you have any scrapbooks of your childhood or old movies? I'd love to see what you look like as a kid. Oh my God, they're in heaven, their clothes are coming off. I'm sorry. Am I the only one laughing? I'm so sorry. It's just so funny. Sorry, I cracked myself up. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Lindsay. Then I'm talking about your hubby right here. Oh my God. Okay, so anyways, I'm making myself laugh. I want to talk to you guys about some Cancers because I originally thought when I first got into astrology, and I love debunking myths, I originally thought, God, Cancers can't commit crimes. There's no way. Somebody this loving, this dialed in to what it would feel like on the other side of the gun or the knife or the whatever, God, they can't commit crimes. Then I found out that these are the worst criminals on the friggin' planet. Like, these are scary ass monsters. But I learned something deeper than that. I learned that these people are so motivated by love. They have a very hard time not being in love, and they have a very hard time being in love for all the reasons I said. Not being in love because it's so lonely, but being in love because it's so vulnerable. So these criminals, a lot of them, or these people that I'm going to talk about, I want you to think about these people in their lives. A lot of them have wrecked their lives and ruined their lives over what? Over what subject? Love. Crimes of passion. Okay, you ready for this? So now I don't have all, serial killers here and negatives, but I want to share with you a bunch of people. Okay, so let's just go with the first one. You ready for this one? Crimes of passion. Dun, dun, dun. Can you even guess? Bill Cosby. Yeah, Bill Cosby. He could not get love, right? So he had to drug for it and rape for it over and over and over. He wanted to attach so badly, and something was missing in him so deeply that he tenaciously loved in the wrong way, right? It's shocking. I know. I was like, what the hell? Here's another interesting one. Okay, so I got to tell you this one thing about Cancers before I talk to you about this other person. Not only are Cancers so loyal to their family, their life is family, home, family, home, family, home, family, home. And their home is not just their loved one. It is literally their dwelling, but it is also their tribe. And in their tribe, it is also their community or their country. So these people love their heritage. These people are highly patriotic usually. And so because they are so patriotic, they're kind of like freedom fighters, if you will. And so they really will put their country above all else. So this is very fascinating when I say this. They will become ferociously protective of their country and whatever their country symbolizes. So I'm not just talking United States, but because I am from the US, it is my experience. But if I was from Thailand, this would be Thai patriotism, whatever that would look like. So George W. Bush is a Cancer, right? He was actually born on my daughter's birthday. He is a Cancer, and he is ferociously, to this day, Texan and protective of Texas, right? Isn't he just so Texas? And he's so American. He's so patriotic. This is from his perspective and who he is in his identity. This isn't what you think about him, and please don't put political comments on my video, but I'm just saying how he identifies himself. And the other person that I wanted to say, oh my gosh, well, sort of a monster. You can see in George W. Bush, while he wasn't a philanderer, like Bill Cosby, he was ferociously protective of his entire family and his tribe and his clan and his community and his state and his country. And, at that time, many people felt so safe with him, as the protector, as the personification of, I will protect you. Edward Snowden is a Cancer. I couldn't believe that. I thought he was an Aquarius, and I want to go double check that before I really talk deeply about him. Now, whether you think he's a friend or a foe, that's not the debate. The debate is only that he identifies with what he did as protecting, as very patriotic. Now, most people interpret it as the opposite, but I'm just talking about what he thinks of himself. Let me look at another one. Okay, here's another one. You ready for this one? So Cancers are not wimpy. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't, I'm going to have a little boy and I don't know, he's going to be a Cancer, he's going to be a wimp. I am telling you, they are not wimpy. Mike Tyson is a Cancer. And talk about ferociously protective, pretty unbelievable. So Tom Cruise is a Cancer as well. Now, there's a little bit of tragedy in Tom's life that we all kind of know about. And I do think he replaced family with church, but look how patriotic he is to it. And also, it's very, very, very difficult to divorce a Cancer. It's also because they make it impossible to leave them. They've got tentacles into your life. They get you kind of codependent on all the juicy fruit. I mean, they are so helpful and they merge so deeply inside of you that it is very difficult to leave them. But they also usually aren't the ones to leave. That's not always true, but they usually aren't the ones to leave. If they leave, something is so severely wrong. It's like a Sagittarius that's an introvert. Something's not totally jiving. So if a Cancer leaves you, you really need to do some deep self-reflection if you're the one being left. Because Cancers don't leave. They just don't. They even stay inside miserable situations believing that they can love the person through it to fix it, love the person to fix it, love the person to heal them, they're the nurse and the mother. How often does a nurse leave your bedside when you're in agony? How often does a mother leave you? Some mothers do, but it is rare. I know, I'm sorry if your mom left you, but you know that it's a rare story. You know that that's an anomaly, that's broken, that's not normal. So that's like Cancers. Cancers don't leave. So the other person that we have is, hold on, I'm exhausting myself. King Henry VIII. Look at that. That man was just in constant search of love. I don't even think he could rule his kingdom because he was just looking for his next wife, killing off the last. And those wives became so codependent, not all of them, but many of them. And if they wouldn't serve his needs, he killed them. And so he's a murderer. And hold on, I'm going to look at my... back to Tom Cruise. I'm sorry, I'm scattered. But Tom Cruise, he didn't leave his marriages. Both of those women left them, and Katie escaped in the night. And if you think, and he's in search now for his next wife. And so his undying loyalty to church has him living this way, and he can't get off this train track. And it's got him so ensconced and entrenched that that Tom Cruise has become the Church of Scientology. He cannot leave it. He is Cancerian, enmeshed in the love of this church that it has become all things. This aspect of Tom Cruise's life shows you how unhealthy a Cancer can bond to something so that will so sabotage the very thing they want. So Tom wants this authentic, deep love more than anything in the world, but he has to go through this church, the relationship with church, to find it, only to never be able to find it. So that is sort of the quintessential example of unhealthy Cancerian attachment, to the point of self-sabotage, not even knowing it. If I asked Tom that, or if I told Tom that, he would think I was crazy because he's so deeply entrenched in his value. Princess Diana is also a Cancer, that poor woman living in a complete and total trap. And look how hard it was to get away. She had to basically die in order to leave her kingdom. She basically had to die. I mean, if you really connect these dots, she had to be killed or die. And that is like one of the most, I don't know, that's probably one of the most tragic deaths in our lifetime that we've ever experienced. So sad. Her son is a Cancer too. And he will always love her and always live in her image. And I think that's beautiful. When you're lucky to get a Cancer mom, like I feel so blessed. And if they're a healthy person, I honestly feel like you've hit the astrological jackpot. All moms are great moms. And if you're a mom and you're not a Cancer, I mean, God bless you and you add so much value. But Cancerians just know how to be a mom. So it's like, that's what they are born to do. And so if you are a Cancer mom, you are probably a really good mom. It's probably what you do best in life. Who else do I want to talk about? Oh, okay, here we go. Here's another favorite of mine as far as Mythbusters go. Because remember, I was like, I didn't think Cancers could like create, I didn't think they could be bad guys, right? When I first started in astrology 23 years ago. So O.J. Simpson is a Cancer. What? Right? Crimes of passion, just crazy. I don't even want to go into that. It's so gross. 50 Cent is a Cancer, and I want to read his biography or his story because I do think there is a closeness to his family. If anybody knows about 50 Cent, I want you to tell me about him because I think that he had a really difficult childhood and then he went back full circle and he supports his family, or he has some brilliant story that I can't remember, but I want to look into him. Daniel Radcliffe is actually a Cancer, and I find it funny because Harry Potter's invisible cloak and total denial is actually the #1 coping mechanism for Cancers. So I thought that was funny. And also Richard Branson is a Cancer. Now Richard Branson is so interesting because what I've heard about him is he's quirky as hell. But what I've heard about him is he takes such good care of his employees. He has a work-life balance in his companies that allow you to take as much vacation as you need for your family, and you self-monitor. And he believes that happy, fulfilled employees create better work and better work environments. So he's such a progressive thinker, isn't he? But he cares so much about his employees that he is very generous with vacation time and nurturing them and paying them rightful wages. So I thought that was interesting. Alexander the Great was also a Cancer. I mean, my God, talk about patriotic, right? Conquered half the world. And this is my favorite. So I got two favorites here. So Meryl Streep is a Cancer. And isn't she sort of today's quintessential Hollywood mother? I mean, she just is. I love her so deeply and so dearly, and she is so talented. And the reason why I think she is so talented is because, remember I said Cancers are so intuitive? I think she intuits herself into the enmeshment and embodies the character so fully that she becomes that character. She's not acting, she's being. She's being that pain. She's being that joy. She can adapt to those moods that aren't even hers. But she borrows them, tries them on, and then becomes them, and then we live them with her, through her. That's what Cancers do internally. They just don't reveal it because they're like the crab with the hard, thick shell. And my second favorite one was, and I'll end with this one, Nelson Mandela. My God, like really, wow, what a nurturing man. Look how patriotic he was and what he did for his country and those who were suffering inside his country. So wherever you have Cancerian energy, if it's in your fourth house, this is where you're going to be maternal, deeply intuitive, deeply connected, and you're going to be this is going to be a nurturing place in your life. So if it's in the fourth house, that's your family. If it's in the 11th house, that's your friends. If it's in the 6th house, if Cancer rules your 6th house, that's your pets, small pets, domesticated pets. If it's in the 6th house, it's also your daily work and diet, health, and nutrition. If it's in your 1st house, this is your body. If it's in your 12th house, it's your connection to God and your spirituality. So, and if it's in your 10th house, it's your career. You're very nurturing and deeply enmeshed and probably feel safe inside your career. So you're probably very successful in career if you have your Cancer sun in the 10th house. And it's where you get validated. It's where you feel safe. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Does anybody have any questions? I can't see, but if you do, you can just type one. I'm on my teeny weeny iPhone. And if you want, you can write a question after my video. I'm probably going to end here, but I guess I just want to close with saying, if you want to love a Cancer, be their safe haven, and never try to remove them from their family, whatever family means. If they've lost their family could be the family that they created, their children, or it could be a family that they've built out of friendships. But wherever they feel safe, they will need to stay. So if you're a newcomer into a Cancerian's life, you're going to need to fit in to their safe haven, because I will give you one universal truth about Cancer. They will never, ever, ever leave their safe haven. The only way you can pull them away from their safe haven is to either kill them or they die. They will not leave it. Absolutely will not leave it. So there's my Cancer video. I love you. Please share it. If you have a Cancer in your life and you feel that they could benefit from it, please feel free to share my video, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. And next we're going to do Leo. Take care. Bye.